huge mistake that a lot of owners make when they are tracking their marketing. That is when we measure cost per lead, but don't measure cost per acquisition. My name is Jared. I'm the owner of Hive Lead. I am a marketing guru, and on this channel, we talk about ways in which we can improve our business using marketing. And that's our subject for today, the difference between cost per lead and cost per acquisition. Now, this sounds simple. Let me go over what each one of those things means. A lead is usually classified in a business as something that could lead to a sale. This could be an incoming phone call. This could be an incoming lead. This could be a conversation. Generally speaking, when you're doing marketing, you're going to count as a lead whatever actually has come in from the marketing. So a generated phone call. It's usually not just a contact. To me, a contact is not necessarily a lead. It's that you ran ads and you got a form fill. It's that you got a phone call. Even, let's say, an opt-in to a lead magnet. Not so sure I would count that as a lead. You may do that. You may consider doing that. And there are some calculations where you might want to do that. It depends on what kind of business it is. But a lead is something that could become a potential client. Now, CPA, or cost per acquisition, refers to how much it costs you to actually get a client. And that is a different thing from a lead. Let's say, for example, I'm going to give you an example of how this works. You are a concrete contractor, let's say. And for every phone call that comes in, every 2 phone calls, you actually get to go out and give an estimate on a particular job that comes in. So 50% of the time you go out to give an estimate. Of the estimates that you give, 1 in every 2 you actually close on. So that means that for every 4 leads, you actually get a job. Now let's say it costs you $50 for you to generate each one of those leads. In that case, it would cost you $250 to generate a client. That's your cost per acquisition. Cost per acquisition is totally different than cost per lead. And this is a huge problem that a lot of owners have as they try to measure each one of their marketing channels. This is important because it helps you to determine which marketing channels are best. So, for example, if I'm running Google Ads, let's say it costs me $100 to get a lead. But let's say out of those leads that I get from Google Ads, I close on 1 out of 3. That means it costs me $300 to obtain a lead. Now let's say that we're running Facebook ads and it only costs me $50. Let's say this is the concrete contractor to get a lead. But I only close on 1 out of every 10. This costs me $500 to get a lead. Now, which platform would I want to put my money into and scale the most? The answer is that you're most likely going to want to put your money into Google Ads. You can also track what it costs with content and SEO in order for you to generate a client, an actually paying client. You don't want to count your chickens before the eggs hatch. You want your CPA to be your overall number for your marketing that determines how much it costs to get a client. And of course, also factoring into this is the sales process. If you don't have a CRM, a way of tracking what happens after a lead comes in, how the process is, how it's set up, and what you're doing with that particular process, including your sales process, then this is also something that I want to emphasize that you should be doing. There's this entire process that goes on that can be improved. It may be that your lead costs is directly correlated with some decisions that you've made inside of your business on how you handle these incoming leads. For example, if you don't answer your leads in the first 5 minutes, this is a huge problem, and everyone knows that there's going to be a huge drop off on how many of those you close on. So a referral is obviously going to be maybe a little bit more amenable to this kind of follow-up. And you may be thinking, oh, my referral gives me a much better, it's a much lower CPA, it's free, but then when I get the Google ads, I can never close on them. Have you thought to look at the actual sales process, the CRM? Is it set up? Do you know how quickly it takes to follow up with incoming clients? Just running a tactic without having your strategy in place, without knowing your actual numbers, is incredibly damaging, incredibly difficult when you're trying to determine how to scale your business and where those leads need to go. So I want to close there, but I want to talk a little bit about one thing. We've actually designed, it's called a leak calculator. This leak calculator will allow you to go into your system and your process, and you can plug in some numbers, and it's immediately going to be able to help you tell you where could you immediately be making money. So if you will go to hiveleadmarketing.com, there's a button on there that says leak calculator. You can click on that. I'll put it inside of the description as well. But at hiveleadmarketing.com, we've designed a calculator for businesses like yours to be able to look at what your cost per acquisition is, how much it costs to get your leads, and where the leaky bucket is, where you're not optimizing your sales process. If you don't know those numbers, we can also talk. That's a huge problem in and of itself. You need a CRM of some kind, a system to track what is customer retention management, a system to explain what is happening with the jobs that are coming in. So that's basically a wrap on this video. If you're interested, get the leak calculator. If you can like and subscribe my videos, if you think they're valuable, it's also greatly appreciated. So hit that button, subscribe or like. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below.